All right, it is Saturday, March. What is it? Day of March? Is it March the 23rd? And we're going to do our first startup of the 64 Fairlane for the spring. Started once. What was that? What'd you say? I started a couple times over the winter, but it hasn't been started in, I guess, at least a month. Something like that. Everything should be good. I'm not even going to charge the batteries. I got my excess power batteries, which I love so much. Those, you can't kill those things. They last a long time. You can't buy a good wet cell that lasts very long anymore. These things are supposed to last like 10 years. The very first one I bought was in the Trino, and I need to look back on my videos to see how long ago that was, but it's really been worth it. When you got this many vehicles, you get tired of buying batteries, so I got to where I didn't mind spending the extra money. So, should we do it from the inside or the outside? I'll just set the camera right here and see how she starts. No choke, 1050 Dominator on a big block Ford. Let's see how it does. It's not super cold, but that wind won't feel good at all. Make sure my power switch is on again. No, it was not. Let's see how she does. Wasn't too stubborn at all, was it? Still got my tiny little street tires on it. After we get the oil change, we need to get those off of there, get the big slicks back on it. That thing starts better than my Trino. The Trino needs some carburetor work. It was actually popping this morning. It never did that before. I did drive it a couple weeks ago and I put some gas in it. Maybe I got some bad gas, I don't know. Had a little bit more ethanol than it should have in it. over the winter I've been putting pure gas in it. I did a flex fuel video on the Trino quite a while ago, several years ago, and it worked, but I found out if you store it, especially over the winter, it does not start very well on that stuff. So I kind of stopped doing that. I need to put the smaller jets back in it and do some carburetor work. Really, I need a smaller carburetor. It's got a big 850 double pumper on it, and for the street, it doesn't need that. So I'm going to let this thing get a little heat in it before I put it in the garage, and we'll get it in there, and I'm going to change the oil and check the valves and clean it up, and that's all it should need, and it should be ready by April. It's supposed to start racing in 2 weeks. We'll see if the weather lets us. So there it is in there. I know it looks funny with the tiny tires, but that's how I store it in the winter. I don't like my slicks being in the freezing cold. So yeah, we need to swap them out. We're going to change the oil, go check the valves. And if you remember last winter when I freshened this engine up, everything looked good except I showed you a couple of push rods that looked pretty rough. And I had some others. I didn't get brand new ones, but I had some other used ones that were good. I stuck them in, but while I'm checking those valves, I'm going to undo the rocker arm completely, pull the push rods out, and inspect them, make sure nothing funny was going on. Because I did use the same lifters because they look good. $600 roller lifters, a little bit higher than $600 now. So yeah, I'm going to use them, and no need to freshen it up this year for sure. I freshened it up last year, and I think I only ran like 8 times last year, so everything should be ready to go. I checked out the rear end, it looked good. Everything should be good. So let's get to it.